Do you know about the mountain ghost called Shanzi? They look like monkeys. Legend says they feed exclusively on student souls. However, Shanzi cannot enter the dormitories because students to experience hallucinations without realizing it. The students help them open the dormitory doors. Late at night in a private university dorm, a roommate suddenly started talking in his sleep. Can you stop disturbing me? Another roommate actually responded to the sleep talk. If we kill him, it won't be nosy anymore. I woke up instantly. I hurriedly sat up. Suddenly, on the balcony security mesh, a creature was actually crouching there. Monkey-like creature. But it possessed a human head. Its skin was smooth and snow-white. Its eyes were wide and bulging like copper bells, but the pupils were entirely white. Its mouth was split open all the way to its chin. It revealed a terrifying, unsettling smile. I screamed in horror. I startled Lizzie in the top bunk awake. Open the door and find someone. If we don't open the door, we're dead. I rushed to turn on all the lights, but the moment my hand touched the door handle, a bolt of lightning flashed through my mind. It warned me that I would die if I opened the door. Because I had once heard a roommate mention a very bizarre rumor. In this dormitory building, a student once died inside a room. The state of his death was extremely strange. There were no external injuries on his body. There was no sign of sudden illness, yet he died peacefully, inside his own dorm room. It was said to be the work of a mountain ghost called Shanzi. It is an evil spirit that specifically devours human souls. That student likely encountered this creature. That's why there were no fatal marks on his body. But Shanzi cannot enter a human dwelling without cause, unless a human opens the door to let it in. So it induces hallucinations in people, making them unknowingly open the door for it. I originally thought this was just an urban legend. What was that I just saw? While I was processing all of this, the other roommate who woke up, Lizzie, urged me anxiously from behind. What are you waiting for? Hurry and go find the dorm manager. Lizzie had only just woken up. He had no idea what had happened. Could he already be influenced by the monster? Was he trying to trick me into opening the door? I turned around and looked at Lizzie, pretending to be calm. Then you come open the door. Lizzie froze in place. You can't open this door, can you? I looked at him. I was almost certain of it now. You aren't Lizzie at all. Everything that just happened was an illusion. The only goal was to get me to open the door. After I said that, we stared at each other silently for several seconds. Lizzie sat on the bed. A creepy smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. Suddenly, the Lizzie before my eyes vanished. In his place were my three roommates pinning me down tightly. They were incredibly strong. They slammed me directly onto the floor. What are you guys doing? I was completely bewildered. Lizzie pinned my arm and roared at me. I can't even hold you down. You were walking toward the door like a zombie. Are you possessed? Zhang Junfeng shouted. Wait, he's talking. He's awake. I quickly explained. Really, I'm truly awake now. I admit it. I was deceived by an illusion just now, but I saw through it. Seriously. Zhang Junfeng agreed that I probably wasn't lying. Shanzi cannot control our speech. It can only use hallucinations to guide our actions. So, I must have woken up. Chen Guangming immediately blocked the door with his body. Let him up. I'll guard the door. You guys help him. Only then did they slowly let me get up. I immediately told them everything that I had just experienced, and they told me what had actually happened in reality. From their perspective, I suddenly got out of bed, walking as if possessed. I turned on all the lights in the bedroom and the hall. Finally, I reached out to open the dormitory door. Luckily, when I turned on the bedroom lights, they all woke up. I didn't react when they called my name. They knew then that something was wrong. So the three of them rushed over to restrain me. Zhang Junfeng breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, you also saw through Shan Zhao's trick. You didn't actually open the door. Otherwise, I don't think we could have stopped you in time. Terrified, I couldn't help but ask. I thought we were safe as long as we didn't open the door. How did I still fall into a hallucination? Zhang Junfeng explained that even without opening the door, Shanzi can cause us to have ordinary hallucinations. But if the door is opened, Shanzi can enter. It would drag us into a death illusion, where it would devour our souls. Regarding the death illusion, Zhang Junfeng had mentioned it to us before. It is a beautiful dreamscape specially created by Shanzi to easily consume human souls. Lizzie asked. So as long as we firmly refuse to open the door and hold out until dawn, we'll be safe, right? Zhang Junfeng added that it might not even take until dawn. Just past 3 a.m. should be enough. As far as I know, Shanzi can only harm people before 3 a.m. Lizzie slumped into a chair. That's even better. It's almost 1 a.m. now. We'll just sit here and wait until 3 a.m. We then sat quietly in the common area until 3 a.m. arrived. My roommates shouted. Finally, we can go out. Let's go. I don't want to stay in this dorm for another second. I hurried to the dormitory door and reached for the handle. But the moment I touched the door handle, another strange feeling surged in my heart. I turned around, looked at my 3 expectant roommates, and asked tentatively, "How about ... Why don't you guys do it?" And with those words, the light of anticipation in their eyes vanished instantly. A chill ran down my spine. The hair on my entire body stood on end. Everything before my eyes was still an illusion. The best proof was that they couldn't open the door. They were waiting for me to open it. I suddenly woke up and sat up from my bed. At the same time, Li Zi in the top bunk seemed startled by me. He also sat up abruptly. But I didn't talk to him, and he didn't talk to me, because we couldn't be sure if this was an illusion or reality. So, no matter what happened next, I had to hold my ground. I must absolutely not open the dormitory door. After a long time, I heard a voice. "Are you all awake?" It was Zhang Junfeng's voice from the opposite bottom bunk. Each roommate gave a brief response. Then, a deathly silence filled the dorm for a long time, until Li Zi leaned out and called, "Lao Zhang, you told us about this Shanzi thing. Do you know anything else? Like, how can we tell if we are currently in an illusion?" Zhang Junfeng thought for a moment and said, "The people you see in an illusion cannot open the dormitory door." But he immediately realized something and added quickly, "But that's pointless. We can't exactly use that as a test, can we?" What he said was true. Because someone who can open the door isn't an illusion. But if the door is opened, it doesn't really matter anymore. Because once the door is open, Shanzi can enter. Suddenly, a thought occurred to me. I quickly added a detail. Just now in the illusion, the 3 of you pinned me to the floor. But I didn't feel any pain at all. Zhang Junfeng said with interest, "I see. That means, if the 3 of you are illusions, not only can you not open the door, but you also cannot hurt me. At most, you could only create a false state of hurting me." Then, the roommates tested it together. Everyone could feel the pain inflicted by the others. Does this mean we are all real people? That we aren't in an illusion? The situation seemed to be going well, that the usually silent Chen Guangming timidly asked a question. "Lao Zhang, I want to ask, if we are dragged into that death illusion by Shanzi, would we still not feel any pain there?" The 3 of us were stunned. That question really left too much room for terrifying imagination. Suddenly, Zhang Junfeng bolted upright. He shouted out a question, half screaming, "Did you open the door?" Chen Guangming immediately explained anxiously, "No, absolutely not. But can you answer a question for me first? Because I saw some things, and saying them directly might be disturbing. Your answer will determine whether I say it or not."